So once again, good evening and welcome you all for this edition of the Office Hours. So we are in the 11th edition of our Office Hours, and as you can see, we have been shipping more features that enable modern platform teams. We are seeing a huge shift in these the features that we are shipping, like inner sourcing being used by a lot of platform teams at enterprises. So the new features we're working on and the current features are working on are shaped towards this direction itself. So before we go into what the features we're covering today and what the agenda is, let me quickly introduce the speakers. Yep. So we have Krishna, Anindya, and I from the product team, and we have Sushmita joining us from the engineering team. Yep. Yep. So what's new? So the four new features, some of them, some of you have already been using and you would have seen in the UI, are the structured Terraform logs, the support for web components, the enhancements to inner sourcing, and Slack alerts for the migration scripts. Right. So I'll just quickly brief you on the one-liners of each of these features, and we can have individual demos for these. Yep. So this structured release logs is a cleaner, a grouped view of your release logs. Earlier, you could have seen that they were presented in an unstructured format. So as you have more modules being written and more blueprints or more projects being created, this is essential for you to understand the linkage of what is being shown in these modules, and that's the rationale behind why we built this. We look more or we learn more about this in our demos. The support for web components is for you to not navigate between multiple internal web apps in your daily workflow. So that's the reason why any internal apps that you use daily, you can bring it into Facets itself. Again, this is the approach towards platformization and reducing ClickOps itself. Yep. Besides that, we have, as you all know, I think the migration script is a feature that we've released a while back. Now you can get Slack alerts for them. We'll show you how you can set it up in the demos. And last but not the least, we have inner sourcing enhancements. So inner sourcing is a feature we've been actively building over the last few months. And as the usage has been, is my voice audible, guys? Cool. Yeah. I was just checking if my audio is all right. Yeah. So regarding the inner sourcing enhancements, some of you have been using this actively and giving us a lot of feedback. So based on this, we have incorporated your feedback in this new release. The discovery of modules just got easier. There are distinct sections in the UI where you can use to distinguish between the modules and discover modules for your team. We're doing this using tags. I think we'll show a demo of this. And yeah, over to the demos now. So let's get started. Over to you, Sushmita. You can start with your demo.
Yeah. Thanks, Adi. Based on our customer feedback, we found out that Terraform logs can be overwhelming to navigate due to lack of contextual information. Often it's time consuming and frustrating to scroll through the raw logs and map the Terraform modules to our Facets resources and actually determine which resources got affected or which modules got processed. In order to simplify this particular experience and bring more relevance to the information we are presenting, we are introducing the structured Terraform logs. Our main goal here is to design UI in such a way that user can easily and quickly visualize and understand the logs and making it easier to draw insights and take action over it. So without further ado, let me walk you through the structured Terraform logs. So we all know this Terraform log button that is available at different places. So I'll navigate through here. So once we click on Terraform logs, you can see that now it comes as a side panel. We have two tabs, raw and structured. So our raw logs are current the default because structured logs is still in a beta stage. So here you can see all the logs, how it is currently being rendered. Uh, Now this is a lot more to understand. So we have built the structured log. So once you come into this particular view, you can see that all the logs have been grouped based on the blueprint resources. Further, each of the blueprint resources will list all the modules which are associated with this particular resource. So in this example, I can show you that four of the resources are being affected in this particular release. And upon clicking on the accordion, you can see all the modules that are related to this particular resource. So every module will have the operation that has been carried out here and its respective log lines. So whenever a release happens, a module gets either created, deleted, or updated. So the same status are being reflected over here. When a release is in progress, you can see something as creating, updating, and deleting, where you get the live data. And once it is successfully processed, then you can see the updated status as created, deleted, or updated. So in every module, if all so in every resource, if all the modules are successfully processed, then we mark the resource status as success. There might so these are the status which I can show. This is for creation, and this is for delete, and this is for update. So there can be cases where the release will fail either due to Terraform errors or other resource failed, and the further module processing might have hindered or it might get skipped. So in all these cases, you can get the insights of it. I'll show one example. This is a failed release where few of the modules of configuration carpenter resource got created, but these two modules for the carpenter node pool resource got skipped. So in this case, we mark status as skipped, and for the resource, the status will be marked as failed. You can also get the overall status of the resource on top here in the header. This is similar to that you get in the release listing page. We also provide support for search by resource type, resource name, or module name. I can give one example here. So you can search by module names over here. So we have developed UI in such a way that this works flawlessly even for ongoing releases, and you can get live updates over here. This particular feature is still in beta. We are also bringing many enhancements in coming days. One such enhancement could be like giving us support for filtering through modules, that is the system module and custom modules. Basically, system modules are the one which Facets provide, and custom modules are the one which the users bring in via the inner sourcing feature. This is all about the feature as of now. If you have any issues or if you find any enhancement, you can always click over the send feedback button and give us feedback over here. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Sushmita, for the demo. And over to you, Anindya, to demo web components.
Okay, so before coming to the web components thing, so I will tell you a little bit of history why we built this. So while talking to our enterprise customers, we got to know that there are a lot of things, internal tools, which Adi was also mentioning, they use on a daily life. But working on facets and working on their external tools, a lot of tools were happening. For a quick example, they had a documentation for developers which they wanted to show within within facets, but there was no option as of now. Every time they want to include something, even if it's a small button, they had to reach out to us. That was the problem statement we felt like solving. So what are web components? Web components are encapsulated reusable HTML components basically, which is pretty HTML standard. So you built it and you can embed that web component within facets. So I will show you how you can do it. So this is your CP. You come to the organizational settings button. Here you will see a new card, which is web components. You click on it and it will basically show you all the web components you have added and the status of it. So I will just quickly show you how to click one or add one. So let's say you click on the add component button, you can give your component name. Mind you, this name will be the component name which is there in your code. The type is disabled as of now because we have only launched it for global component, but in future we will also develop it for local components. So I will just ignore it for now. The remote URL is the URL where you will host your web component. You can host it via any cloud, or you can use Facets itself to host your web component. So that's the good thing. Icon URL is the URL which for the icon which is the entry point for your web component. there is an option field to enable and disable the web component, and there is a tooltip text field, which is basically the description, which to let the users know what it actually does. So I will just edit one existing one. So let's say the component name is nav app widget. This is the remote URL where it is hosted. This is the icon URL. I will just enable it. When I click on save and I come back to my home page, you can see now there is that icon which I just added. You click on it and the web component should load in. So now this web component runs on its own shadow DOM. That's how all web components do. So no matter what the CSS is or the JavaScript, yeah, it won't conflict with the Facets HTML DOM. Another good thing is you can, because it uses the session token, you can call any Facets APIs you have. So you can make, if you want to make your own release tab or you want to make your own container registry tab, you can do it. Or if you can want to import your analytics app which you have built outside, you can just make it as a web component and embed within Facets and use it. So this is what the feature is about. This is currently only, we can use it as a side app as of now, but in future we will also be able to add web components as tab apps. So we will keep you updated when that happens. But yes, this is the feature first of all. Use it and you can always give us feedback what went wrong, what we can make it better. Yeah. And also feel free to text the questions you have regarding this.
Yeah. Thanks, Anindya, for the demo. I think this is a pretty exciting feature that makes our platform more extensible and gives more capabilities for the user to bring all their workflows onto one platform. There's already been a lot of interest from our enterprise customers and some of you guys who have already started using this. For the rest of you, please try this out, and we'd love to hear your feedback on the same. Over to you, Krishna, for the next set of.
Thanks, Adi. So the next feature that we're going to demo is the maintenance release notification. So basically, we had shipped a feature called maintenance release that helped us streamline the process of applying ISC changes by executing migration scripts that was separated from regular releases so that you can plan your maintenance accordingly so that it does not bring you downtime, and it reduces the risk of unnecessary updates during some important time. So basically, with this dedicated maintenance window and manual trigger options, you can gain enhanced control and visibility over the IAC changes, and it promotes stability and consistency across your environments. So while we already have this feature where you can see your infrastructure changes that are pending from the UI. So I'll just share my screen and show you how it's there already. So this is how you see your pending updates in the UI already. So when you go to environment settings and the IAC tab, if you are on latest, or maybe you have changed your version recently, and if there are some pending updates, you can get to see it from here. But it's not a place where you regularly come into during your day-to-day workflow. So what we have built now is a Slack app which integrates within your Slack channels and notifies whenever a release is pending, whenever a migration script is pushed from our end, and if your environment is in latest. So for example, this particular environment that I was showing you was in latest. So for these kind of environments, these particular migration scripts will be applicable in the next maintenance window. Or if you want to run them manually at any other time, you can do that as well. So this will help you manage your updates by making informed decisions about what updates are going to come in future. And this is basically available for all your Slack channels. So you can request it to our team and we'll add this integration to your Slack channels. And the next feature that I'm going to talk about is basically the enhancements that we have made for inner sourcing. So we had developed our inner sourcing functionality to transform the platform engineering into a collaborative and inclusive process that scales effectively across large organizations. Many teams using Terraform hit the same issues like inconsistent module patterns, poor documentation, and the need for deep Terraform knowledge. even for some basic tasks. So Facet solves this by introducing structured and standardized modules that act more like APIs rather than libraries. By applying this open source sort of mentality internally as well, Facets empowers you guys to contribute reusable infrastructure modules, automation scripts, and enhancements directly to the central platform and without compromising on governance and quality alongside. So this approach basically breaks down silos, and it encourages shared ownership and ensures that the platform evolves with the needs of its users. Teams can preview, test, and adopt new modules at their own pace, while platform engineers basically maintain oversight through transparent review processes. So the result that we have from this particular functionality is a dynamic, extensible platform that fosters innovation. So we already had this feature released earlier, and we have made some recent enhancements. So this feature, when we released it, we introduced you to module writing, how you can write your own modules, and we have docs for all of this. And let's say once you have written your own modules and you want to consume it, basically we have this particular section called Op Center where you have a module registries card page where you can see all your system modules and custom modules listed. So system modules are the ones that we from our sides, Facet sides, we push it for you to use. And these are very generic modules which anyone and everyone can use. And there's a place for custom modules as well. These modules are the ones that you build for your use cases and publish it across your organization for everyone to use. So we had built this page earlier, and we had also added this particular details page where you can go and check out all the details related to this particular module and manage it out, perform several actions as well, raise a ticket, maybe view documentation, publish the module. So this was all there already. What we have now built is on the consumption part. So let's say when you have already published your module as a DevOps guy and some developer is trying to consume it, or maybe some DevOps guy is trying to build a blueprint out of the modules present. So what we have done is we have added a clear distinction between custom modules and system modules, and added tags like preview state that is there in test project, so that you can clearly get to know the whole context about this module before adding it to your blueprint. Or maybe once you try to add it, you can see this distinction over here as well, maintaining the consistency. And for example, once you have added it already, even in this particular resource details page, you can see all of the information that this is a custom module, and the flavor is this test by DynamoDB, and the status is preview. So basically, when you go on these particular tabs, you get the whole context about all of your the whole context about your module. And we also have this feature. Is my screen visible? No, I'll reshare it again maybe. Yeah, so let's say if you have added a new version for your module with some existing flavor that already people were using. So the earlier way to upgrade to this version was manually informing everyone who were using this particular version, and asking them to go into the JSON and adding the new version. But what we have introduced here is you will automatically get notified whenever a new version is published for this particular intent and flavor. And you can just simply click on this button called update now. And what it will do is it will load the form for the new version. And you can check all the fields that are there for the newer version and maybe save changes. When you save changes, the new version gets applicable and you can perform a release to, send your changes make your changes live. We have also added this particular distinction to the module manage module functionality of project types, where you can select what all resources are available for you to use in your projects. So here also you can see a clear distinction between system modules and custom modules, so that you can make decisions accordingly. Yeah, so that is all about this particular feature. We welcome your feedback related to the complete inner sourcing functionality. So let us know if you find some great feedback. Thank you.
Thanks, Krishna, for the detailed demo. That brings us to the end of the office hours session. Um, thank you guys for joining, and see you guys in the next office hours.